You are listening to Still Within, where the quiet wisdom of the Stoics becomes your companion through the night. Here, words are not rushed. They move like water across stone, shaping, softening, and settling you into calm. Tonight, we journey through the timeless teachings of Stoicism, a philosophy that asks us to release what is beyond our grasp. Imagine this: all the burdens you carried today, the disappointments, the arguments, the expectations that seem to press against your chest, slowly begin to dissolve, like mist fading in the morning light. The Stoics taught that peace is not something we chase, but something we uncover when we stop clutching at what we cannot hold. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled over lands vast and turbulent, once whispered to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." These words are not just ink on parchment. They are a hand on your shoulder, a lantern guiding you through the night. As you lie here, safe and still, think of the countless nights Marcus too must have stared into the dark, asking for calm amidst chaos. You are not so different from him. The same stars he once looked upon still glow above us. The same longing for rest and clarity still beats within the human heart. Close your eyes gently. Feel the breath moving in and out, without force, without judgment. This is where the journey begins, not in trying to control, but in learning to let go. Each teaching we'll explore tonight is a step deeper into that release, into that surrender, until your body drifts easily into sleep. You don't have to hold the world. You don't have to fix what is broken tonight. For now, you only need to rest, listening to words that remind you of your own quiet strength, the strength that comes from letting go. So let us begin. In a humble corner of the ancient Roman world, long before his name would echo through centuries of philosophy, Epictetus lived as a man of few possessions. He was once a slave, later freed, and never wealthy by the standards of his time. His life was marked not by luxury, but by simplicity, by the quiet dignity of someone who knew that what he carried inside was more valuable than anything placed upon his shelf. Among the few belongings he kept, there was one he cherished, a modest iron lamp. It was not grand, not gilded. It did not shine with the splendor of noble homes, but to Epictetus it was familiar. Its flame glowed warmly at night, chasing shadows from the room, serving as a silent companion to his hours of study and contemplation. Then, one evening it was gone, stolen. Imagine him returning to his dwelling, noticing the absence. That small but steady source of comfort had been taken by another hand. How natural it would be to feel anger, to curse the thief, to replay the loss over and over in the mind. How many of us even today would hold on to such a grievance for days, weeks, years? Yet Epictetus did not. With calm acceptance, he said, "Tomorrow they will return it, or they will steal another. That is not up to me." And what did he do? He replaced it with a clay lamp. Cheaper, simpler, less attractive to thieves. And with that single choice, he freed himself, not only from the theft, but from the weight of attachment itself. He never worried about lamps again. This is not simply a story about a stolen object. It is a doorway into the heart of Stoic wisdom. For the Stoics knew that everything external, wealth, property, reputation, even the behavior of those around us, is outside our control. To cling too tightly to what is not ours to command is to invite endless suffering. Consider how easily we carry our own iron lamps. Perhaps it is a car, gleaming and new, that we guard obsessively. Perhaps it is a prized device, a career title, or a social status that we fear losing. Perhaps it is the expectation that others must treat us a certain way. These attachments feel natural, even necessary, but they bind us like invisible chains. When they are damaged, lost, or taken, our peace goes with them. Epictetus teaches us another way. By holding possessions lightly, by expecting nothing eternal from them, we are never undone by their loss. The lamp can be stolen, but our serenity remains untouched. The clay lamp, simple and unadorned, becomes a symbol of freedom. Pause for a moment and bring this into your own night. Reflect on something you've been clinging to, an object, a plan, perhaps a memory that keeps replaying. Notice how tightly you grip it in your thoughts, how much of your peace is tied to it. And then imagine loosening that grip just as Epictetus did. Imagine setting it down gently. Imagine replacing the heavy iron with something simple, something lighter, or nothing at all. Your breath softens as you do this. Your chest feels a little more open. A small space of calm appears, and with it, sleep begins to approach. Life will always take things from us. Sometimes in small ways, a misplaced item, a forgotten word. Sometimes in profound ways, the loss of people we love, the unraveling of dreams we built. But Epictetus's lamp reminds us that even in loss, we have a choice. We can surrender our peace along with what was taken, or we can remain whole within ourselves, knowing that what matters most cannot be stolen. As the night deepens around you, let this story be a comfort. You do not need to hold the world together. You do not need to defend every possession, every expectation. The only treasure you must guard is the stillness within your own mind. That is the flame no thief can touch. And so, with Epictetus as your guide, let go of your own lamps tonight. Let go of the weight that is not yours to carry. Rest in the quiet freedom that comes from release. Imagine closing your eyes at night, only to find your mind racing with the countless problems of the day. Now picture being Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome. The year is the 2nd century. He carries on his shoulders the fate of the greatest empire the world has ever known. Borders are threatened by enemies. Plagues ripple through the streets. Senators plot and whisper. Armies await his command. And yet every night Marcus found time to write in his journal, not for history, not for glory, but for himself. By candlelight he scribbled words that no one else was meant to read. Words that reminded him to return inward, to let go of what he could not control, to find rest in a world that never seemed to rest. If you are disturbed by something outside yourself, he wrote, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Think about that. Here was a man whose days were filled with wars, betrayals, and endless decisions, yet he still believed that peace was possible, because peace lives not in events but in perspective. What disturbs us is not the storm, but how tightly we insist the sky remain clear. For Marcus, the weight of an empire was real. He could not deny the armies at his borders, nor the suffering of his people. But he recognized that his control stopped at the edge of his own mind. He could not force events to obey him. What he could do was govern his thoughts, decide how he would meet the chaos. And in that mastery he found strength. Pause here. Think about your own empire. It may not be Rome, but perhaps it is a career that demands more than it gives back. A family that leans on you in every crisis. Bills, responsibilities, deadlines pressing in. At times, it feels like the weight of the world rests on your chest. You lie in bed, unable to set it down, but Marcus shows us another way. He teaches that the world will always be too heavy to hold, but your mind can always choose to let go. You don't need to carry every outcome into your sleep. You don't need to resolve every problem before dawn. You can place the empire outside your door for a while and return to it in the morning, stronger for having rested. Close your eyes more deeply now. Breathe in, slow and steady. With each exhale, imagine setting down one burden. The conversation you replayed, the task you didn't finish, the fear of tomorrow's unknown. Picture yourself handing them over to the night, just as Marcus released the empire when he set down his pen. The Stoics often reminded themselves of their smallness, not as a curse, but as a gift. Under the stars, even an emperor is just one soul passing like a shadow. And if even Rome's ruler could surrender to sleep without controlling the universe, so can you. It is not weakness to rest. It is not negligence to sleep. It is an act of courage to accept that you are not in command of all things. Marcus Aurelius carried armies, plagues, and politics, but he still found his peace by whispering inward. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Carry those words now, as you drift deeper. Whisper them to yourself, I have power over my mind. Not over the world, but over my response to it. This is enough. This is freedom. And as your body grows heavy and your breath smooth, let Marcus's example remind you. You can release your empire tonight. Tomorrow will bring what tomorrow brings. For now, rest in what is yours. The quiet kingdom of your own thoughts, calm and unshaken. Seneca, the Roman philosopher and statesman, lived in a world of constant uncertainty. He advised emperors, witnessed conspiracies, and walked daily among men who might one day decide his fate. His own life was fragile, balanced between influence and danger. Yet from this precarious life he left behind words that speak across centuries, a reminder that time, more than wealth, more than power, is the one treasure we must hold with care. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And perhaps no line better captures our illusion of control. For what do we waste time on? If not the attempt to grasp what slips forever beyond our reach. We fill our days with worry about the future, regrets about the past, endless attempts to bend others to our will, and in the struggle we lose what is real. This moment, here and now. Picture Seneca in the quiet of his villa, perhaps sitting in the fading glow of afternoon, watching the shadows lengthen across the walls. He knew that power could be taken from him, wealth could be stripped away, and life itself could end at the command of an emperor. Yet he also knew that no one could steal the present moment, unless he allowed it to be stolen by distraction or fear. And so he urged his readers, and he urges us still, to let go of what we cannot hold, the hours that have passed, the future we cannot summon. To live well is to live now, to let time be not something squandered on fear, but something filled with presence. How often do we lie awake, chasing time as though it were a runaway horse? We replay mistakes, imagining what we should have said or done. We leap ahead into tomorrow, trying to control outcomes not yet born, but every replay and every leap is a theft. It steals from the only place we truly exist, the present. Seneca offers us freedom from this theft. He tells us, "You do not control the length of your life, but you can control its depth. You cannot command tomorrow, but you can command the way you live this breath, this heartbeat, this evening." Let that thought sink into you as you listen. You don't need to fix yesterday. You don't need to pre-live tomorrow. You only need to let this moment be enough. Your body resting, your breath flowing, your mind unclenching, and as you surrender, notice how light you feel. The illusion of control over time falls away, and with it, the weight of regret and anxiety. What is left is simple and beautiful, the present moment undisturbed. Seneca's life did not end in peace. He was ordered to take his own life, accused of conspiracy, caught in the web of politics he could not control. Yet even then, in his final hours, he spoke calmly to those around him, offering comfort rather than despair. His philosophy was not an abstract ideal, it was a lived truth. When control was stripped away, he still owned his response. He still owned his presence, and so can you. No matter the weight of your past, no matter the uncertainty of tomorrow, this moment belongs to you. Let it be enough. As you lie here, allow Seneca's words to echo softly. It is not that life is short, but that we waste much of it. Refuse to waste this night in worry. Let it be what it is. A chance to rest, to restore, to return to yourself. Time will move as it will. Tomorrow will come or it will not. But tonight you can rest in the only place that has ever truly been yours, the present. Long before Seneca and Marcus, there was Cleanthes, the second head of the Stoic school. He lived in Athens, centuries before the Roman Empire would rise. Unlike many philosophers who earned their keep through teaching or patronage, Cleanthes worked by night, hauling water to support himself, so that by day he might sit in study and reflection. His life was simple, austere, and grounded, and from such a life he gave us one of the most enduring expressions of Stoic acceptance, the hymn to Zeus, often called the hymn to fate. In this hymn, Cleanthes praised the divine order of the universe, the logos that guides all things. He declared that every event, every challenge, every twist of destiny was part of a greater harmony. Even suffering, even loss had its place in the design. He wrote, "Lead me, Zeus, and you, fate, wherever you have assigned me. I will follow without hesitation, but if I resist, still I must follow." What does this mean for us, listening centuries later in the stillness of night? It means that life moves according to currents larger than ourselves. We may thrash against them, demanding that rivers flow backwards, but the current does not bend to our cries. The more we resist, the more exhausted we become. The more we accept, the more we discover peace within the flow. Imagine yourself in a small boat, drifting along a vast river under the night sky. You can fight the current with frantic strokes, or you can rest the oars and trust the water to carry you forward. Cleanthes' hymn invites us to rest the oars, to see fate not as an enemy, but as a companion. This does not mean surrendering to despair or refusing to act. The Stoics never advised passivity. They acted where they could, with courage, with justice, with wisdom. But they also recognized the limits of their reach. Cleanthes teaches that serenity begins when we accept that the river of life will flow whether we resist it or not. To align with it is to find calm. To fight it endlessly is to drown in our own resistance. As you lie here tonight, think of the things you fought against in vain. Perhaps a change you could not prevent, an ending you did not choose, a door that closed no matter how much you pushed. These are the places where fate whispers its hymn. You cannot silence that song, but you can choose how to join it. You can resist, screaming in frustration, or you can soften and flow, trusting that even this current has meaning. Feel how your body loosens when you stop resisting. Shoulders sink deeper into the bed. Breath falls into rhythm. The tightness of control slowly unravels. This is the practice of Cleanthes, not to give up, but to give over, to let life carry you without fear. For the Stoics, fate was not a cruel jailer. It was a teacher, a guide, sometimes harsh, but always leading toward wisdom if we allowed it. Cleanthes' hymn was not sung with bitterness, but with reverence. He saw order in the storm, a hidden harmony in the chaos, and he invited us to see it too. So tonight, as sleep draws near, imagine yourself carried gently by that vast current. No need to thrash, no need to cling. The river is wide, the stars above are steady, and you are part of something greater than your own will. Let go of resistance and peace will find you. Repeat softly in your mind as Cleanthes once prayed, "Lead me, Zeus, and you, fate, wherever you have assigned me." Not with fear, but with trust. Not with tension, but with release. This is how we rest. This is how we sleep. There is a silence in the night that no day can offer. When the streets grow still, when conversations fade and the demands of the world pause, something ancient awakens. The night becomes a teacher. Its lessons are not written on scrolls or whispered in courts, but carried in shadows, in stars, in the quiet rhythm of breath as you drift toward sleep. For the Stoics, the night was never wasted. It was a time to reflect, to write, to pray, to release. Marcus Aurelius filled his journals under the glow of a small flame. Epictetus taught his students to examine their actions before sleep, asking, "Where did I fall short today? Where did I live according to nature? Where can I do better tomorrow?" Seneca too advised ending the day in review, not to condemn the self, but to guide it gently, like a parent leading a child. And yet, the night also carried another gift, the reminder that we are small, that we are fleeting, that control is an illusion beneath the vastness of the stars. "Look upward," Marcus once said, "and see yourself running alongside the constellations. The galaxies do not bend to our will. The turning of the heavens does not pause for our worries." And that truth, far from frightening, can be deeply comforting. When we lie awake, we often imagine ourselves at the center of the universe, our problems, our plans, our regrets so large they seem to blot out everything else. But the night whispers differently. It tells us, you are a small part of a great whole, and in that smallness you are free. Free to release what is beyond you, free to rest in what is near. Notice the darkness around you now. It does not demand anything. It does not press or rush. It simply holds you like a vast cloak. In this darkness you do not need to perform. You do not need to achieve. You do not need to control. You only need to be. The Stoics called this living according to nature. Not resisting the order of things, not demanding that day be night or that time be frozen. The night teaches this naturally. You cannot stop it from falling. You cannot hold the sun in place. You cannot delay the dawn, and so you accept it, and in that acceptance you rest. How much of life is like this? Events arrive like evening. Change sweeps in like twilight, and yet we thrash, insisting it should not be so. But if we listened, the night would teach us, let it be. Surrender. Trust the rhythm of what is larger than you. Think of how many burdens the night quietly softens. The unanswered email, the disagreement at work, the tension in your chest from carrying too much. The night whispers, these do not belong to you now. Lay them down. Trust that you will meet them tomorrow with new strength. Tonight is not for striving. Tonight is for stillness. And here, the night becomes almost like a Stoic sage. It strips away illusions. The noise of the day vanishes. The urgency fades. What remains is the essence, your breath, your thoughts, your inner strength. This is what the Stoics sought, a clarity untouched by circumstance. Even modern life, with its glowing screens and endless notifications, cannot silence the ancient gift of night. When you turn away from the light, when you place the device aside, when you close your eyes, the same teacher waits for you as it once waited for Marcus and Seneca. The same stars hover above. The same silence carries wisdom. Let yourself be a student of the night. Let the stars remind you of perspective. Let the stillness remind you of peace. Let the darkness remind you that you need not hold every answer. not tonight. The night carries you as it has carried countless souls before you. And when morning comes, you will rise lighter, freer, calmer, because you trusted the night, because you allowed yourself to let go. The Stoics would tell us, no man owns the day and no man owns the night, but the wise man knows how to use both. The day is for action, the night is for release. The day is for effort, the night is for surrender. One without the other is imbalance. Together they form harmony, so tonight choose harmony, choose release. Let the night be your teacher, and in its lesson find rest. The night is nearly complete. Your breath has slowed, your body rests more deeply against the bed. Thoughts that once pulled and twisted have loosened their grip. And here, at the edge of sleep, we pause for a final reflection. The Stoics often reminded themselves that life is not measured in the days we cling to, but in the clarity with which we release. To let go is not weakness. To let go is wisdom. Tonight you have practiced that wisdom. You have walked with Marcus, who taught that even an emperor must bow before the order of nature. You have sat with Epictetus, who held that freedom lies not in possessions or control, but in choosing how to meet what comes. You have listened to Seneca, who urged us to examine each day and to part with it peacefully as though it were our last. And you have learned from Zeno, who began his philosophy not in triumph but in shipwreck, in the stripping away of what could never truly be his. Their voices, carried across centuries, meet you here in this quiet hour. They do not shout. They do not demand. They simply remind you, what is beyond your control does not belong to you, and what does not belong to you should never weigh you down. So as you drift into sleep, imagine setting each burden upon a river. Watch the current carry it away. The lamp you worried over, the words you wish you had said, the future you cannot yet shape. Let them all drift beyond sight. In their place remains only this moment, this stillness, this breath. The night does not ask you to solve tomorrow. It asks only that you rest, and in that rest, strength returns, clarity returns. The calm center within you grows stronger, like a flame that glows even in the deepest dark. If you wake in the night, return to this truth. Nothing presses upon you that is not given by nature. And nature asks only that you breathe, that you accept, that you live in harmony with what is, no more, no less. Picture the sky above you now, vast and infinite, holding stars that burn without asking for your control. Picture the earth beneath you, steady and silent, turning without your command. All continues in its course, whether you stir or sleep. In this recognition, you are freed from the burden of managing the universe. You need only rest within it. The Stoics would say, do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do. Tonight, the event is simple. The body's surrender to rest, the mind's release into dream. Let this be enough. Let go of the grip on yesterday's mistakes. Let go of the plans that stretch too far ahead. Let go of the roles you played today. Parent, worker, friend, warrior, and simply be a soul resting in the night. Here, there is no expectation. Here, there is no failure. Here, there is only peace. As the Stoics knew, the ultimate peace is not found in conquering the world, but in mastering the self. Tonight, you have practiced that mastery. You have chosen not to cling, not to fight, but to release. And in release, you have found freedom, so now let go fully. Let the last threads of thought unwind. Let the body sink into quiet. Let the mind drift into the wide silence of the night. Tomorrow will come as it always does. And when it does, you will meet it with clearer eyes, steadier hands, and a calmer heart. But for now, remain here, still within, at peace. Sleep well.